Now in this module, uses of dimensional analysis. The third use of dimensional analysis, that is to derive the formula, or I can say the derivation of a formula. Derivation of a formula using dimensional analysis. So using the principle of homogeneity, HOMO, homogeneity, GENEITY. The principle of homogeneity of dimension, we can derive the formula of a physical quantity provided we know the factors on which the physical quantity depends. So any physical quantity depends on which factors. If this thing I know, then I can find out or derive the formula. For that I am going to take one or two example here. The first example I am taking here. Suppose derive an expression for the time period. Derive an expression for the time period t of a simple pendulum which may depends upon the mass of the bob and length of the pendulum. Then find out mass of the bob, length of the pendulum and acceleration due to gravity. Acceleration due to gravity. Then derive the formula using dimensional analysis. So here what we have to do? First, one thing we have to know, that physical quantity depends on which factors. So write down T depends on three factors. It means that T is proportional to three factors, M, L and G. So dear children, M की power A, L की power B and G की power C. Here you can say A, B and C are the dimensions of mass, length and acceleration due to gravity, and the constant of proportionality here we are taking K. Then write down the dimension formula on both the side. Here is the time period. The dimensional formula for the time period is M0, L0, T1. Here is K. The dimensional formula for the mass is M की power A. Here is L की power B. Here is acceleration. The dimensional formula for the acceleration is LT minus 2 की power C. Now, this I can write like this: M की power A, L की power B here and L की power C here. Base is common, so power may be add B plus C, and T की power minus 2C. Here, now using the principle of homogeneity, compare the power on both the side of mass, length and time. Here you can say compare the power of mass. Here A is equal to 0. Here B plus C is equal to also 0. Here minus 2C is equal to 1. So C comes out to be minus 1 by 2. Put this value here, so you can get it. B plus minus 1 by 2 is equal to 0. So B comes out to 1 by 2. So A is 0, B is 1 by 2 and C is 1 by 2. And what we are getting? Write these values in our equation number 1 here. So we can say, children, here T is equal to K, M की power 0, L की power B, that is 1 by 2, and G की power minus 1 by 2. This is, so I can write here K under root of L by G. This is the result. So this is the way to find out the formula here. Is that clear? The constant of proportionality, if we don't know, then we can write only K. But in actual formula of time period, the value of K is 2 pi. So you may also write here T is equal to 2 pi under root L by Z. If you know this constant, then write. Otherwise, you may write only this. So this is the way to find out the formula for the time period using the dimensional analysis. One more example I am taking here, dear children. See, one more example I am taking here. Say that the frequency of vibration nu of a string depends upon the length of the string. Here is the length of the string, tension T in the string, and mass per unit length of the string. Frequency of vibration depends on three factors. Then it asks us to derive the formula using dimensional analysis. Okay? So now, first you have to write the frequency of vibration is proportional to three factors. What is that factors? L, T and M. Right according to question. L first, then we write L, T and M. A, B and C are the dimensions. We don't know the dimension constant, we can write only K. Now, write down the dimensional formula on both the side. Here it is the frequency of vibration, so the dimensional formula for that is M0 L0 T minus 1. The dimensional formula for the frequency is T minus 1. Here K length L की power A. Here is a tension. Tension is a kind of force. So we can use here the dimensional formula for the force, that is M1 L1 T minus 2 की power B. Third one is mass per unit length. It means mass upon length. The dimensional formula for the mass divided by length, so L is minus 1 की power C. So this is the way to write down the dimensional formula in both the sides. Now solve it. K. M की power B here and C here. So I can write B plus C. L की power A. Here is B and here is C. And T की power minus 2B here. See that, come write down equation. When base are common, power is added. Now compare the power on both the sides. Comparing the power. M B plus C is equal to 0. Here A plus B minus C is equal to 0. Here minus 2B is equal to minus 1. So here you can get B is equal to 1 by 2. B you can get it 1 by 2, put it here. So C comes out to be minus 1 by 2. B came, C came, then I can write here A plus B की जगह रखिए 1 by 2 minus of minus 1 by 2. That is equal to 0. So you are getting here 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2. A plus 1 is equal to 0. A is equal to minus 1. So we are getting here A is equal to minus 1, B is equal to 1 by 2 and C is equal to minus 1 by 2. Is it clear? Put this value in our equation number 1. This is our equation number 1. So T comes out to be K L की power 1 because L की power minus 1. A is equal to minus 1. So I can say L की power minus 1. Then T की power B, that is 1 by 2. Then M की power minus 1 by 2. what we are getting? K 1 by L under root of T by M. So this is the formula. Here is new. So this is the formula we derived here. Is it clear? That's a very simple way. Now you can derive. One assignment for you. So you may write. So what is that assignment? The centripetal force F depends on three factors, that is mass of the body, velocity of the body, and radius r of the circle. Centripetal force depends on three factors: mass of the body, velocity of the body, and radius of the circle. Then derive the formula for the centripetal force using dimensional analysis. This is the assignment for you. Is that clear? Okay. Now, to children, in this module we have seen the usage of dimensional analysis. So what are the limitations of dimensional analysis? Limitations of dimensional analysis. First limitation, this method gives us no information about the dimensionless constant. Dimensionless constant. It is clear? First thing. Second thing, if a quantity depends on more than three factors, then we cannot derive the formula using dimensional analysis. If any physical quantity depends on only two or three factors, then you may derive. Otherwise, you can't derive the formula using dimensional analysis. Third one, we can't derive the formula containing trigonometrical functions. Trigonometrical functions, exponential functions, logarithmic functions, it is not helpful for us. Now, the method of dimensions can't be used to derive an exact form of relation when it consists of more than one part on any side. Say for example, S is equal to ut plus 1 by 2 at square. Can't be obtained exact form. We have to check dimensions of separate part of the equation, then we may derive. Then last, it gives no information whether a physical quantity is a scalar quantity or a vector quantity. So these are the limitations of a dimensional analysis. So remember it. Now, dear children, we are going to start another part of this chapter, that is errors of measurement. Errors of measurement. Errors of measurement. For that I can say the measuring process is essentially a process of comparison. For that, what we have to do, if I found any value and check that value from correct value, what is the difference in between them? What is the difference between them, or I can say the difference in the true value and the measured value. And the measured value is called errors of measurement. Errors are of various types. So we are going to see here types of errors. Types of errors. First, systematic error. Systematic error. systematic error. Dear children, in a systematic error, I can say that this type of error can be of instrumental error, the error already present in instrument, or I can say the imperfection in experimental technique or procedure, or I can say personal error, or I can say errors due to external cause, or I can say errors due to the list count. So these type of various error occurs is called a systematic error. Another type of error, that is random error. Another type of error, that is random error. Children, in random error are the errors which occurs irregularly. That is called random error. Third type of error, that is gross error. The gross error arises, for example, I can say reading an instrument without setting it properly. आपने इंस्ट्रूमेंट को ढंग से सेट नहीं किया और रीडिंग ले लिया, तो दैट टाइप ऑफ एरर इज कॉल्ड ग्रॉस एरर. टेकिंग द ऑब्जर्वेशंस रॉन्गली, आपको एक्सपेरिमेंट करना आता ही नहीं है, आप एक्सपेरिमेंट कर रहे हैं, तो दैट टाइप ऑफ एरर may be create over there, so that is called a gross error. Is it clear? Now children, in various type of error also we may define here absolute error, relative error or percentage error. So first I am going to clarify here what is absolute error in the measurement of a physical quantity. In the measurement of a physical quantity is the magnitude of the difference between the true value and the individual measured value of the quantity. True value and the individual measured value. For that I am taking an example here. Let the physical quantity be measured n times. Suppose you are measuring the physical quantity n times. Is it clear? Let the physical quantity measured n times, and the measured values are say A1, A2, A3 like this n times. Say that is An. So arithmetic mean of these, that is A1 plus A2 plus A3, सबको जोड़ लीजिए, divided by number of times. So this value which you are getting here, it is called arithmetic mean, that is Am. This Am, arithmetic mean Am is the best possible value of the quantity. So by the definition of absolute error, from this quantity Am, I will subtract A1. Then from A1, I will subtract A2. So I will get absolute error. So by the definition, absolute error in the individual measured value of the quantities would be, that is delta of A1 is equal to Am minus A1. Similarly, delta of A2, that is Am minus of A2. Like this, delta of An, that is equal to Am minus of An. So these are the values which we are getting, is called absolute error. Is it clear? Now, so absolute error we are having here. Then I am going to find out mean absolute error. Mean absolute error. Mean absolute error, इन सबको जोड़ लीजिए. Sum of it, magnitude of these, delta of A1 plus delta of A2, like this, delta of An. Magnitude means only positive quantity divided by n. This is called mean absolute error. This is called mean absolute error, or I can say delta of A mean. Is it clear? Now, so I can say we have find out absolute error, then mean absolute error. Hence, I can say so final result of the measurement may be written as A is equal to, that is A mean plus minus delta of A mean. This is the final result. A mean we had calculated earlier. Delta of A mean comes out from here. So this is the value of A. Then I am going to find out what is relative error. What is relative error or fractional error? I am going to see relative error or fractional error. So I can say the relative error or fractional error, say that may be written as delta of A. It is the ratio of mean absolute error to the mean value of the quantity measured. That is delta of A is equal to mean absolute error divided by mean value. So I can say delta of A mean divided by A mean. This is called relative error. Delta A. Then if you want to find out the percentage error, then you may write delta of A mean divided by A mean into 100%. This is called percentage error. These are the various formula which will be used when we have to solve the problems. Is it clear? Then so we have seen different formulas. So we are going to use these formulas. So I am taking here one simple example. The refractive index of water is found to have the values, different values, say 1.29, 1.33, 1.34, 1.35, 1.32, 1.36, 1.30, 1.33. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 students measured the value of refractive index and the values are this one. Is it clear? Now calculate the mean value. It asks calculate the mean value, then absolute error, then relative error, and then percentage error. 4 things I am going to find out here. So what is the way? First find out the mean value of refractive index. Mean value of refractive index, इन सबको जोड़ लीजिएगा, divided by total number of readings is 8. 1, 2, 3, 4 like this. So you may add this 1.29, 1.33, 1.34, 1.35, 1.32 plus 1.36 plus 1.30 plus 1.33 divided by 8. जोड़िए इन सबको and then when you add it up, सबको add करिए, that will be around 10.62 divided by 8. So you will get it something like this, 1.3275. So we may write around like 1.33 suppose. So this is the mean value. सबको जोड़ लीजिए, टोटल नंबर ऑफ रीडिंग्स का भाग दे दीजिए. Then absolute error. This is the value of refractive index and the symbol for refractive index is mu. Then absolute error आपको निकालना है. Absolute error. The exact value of refractive index of water होता है बच्चों 1.33. तो ये सारी ऑब्जर्वेशंस को 1.33 से सब्सट्रैक्ट करेंगे अपन. So we will get absolute error. So delta of A1 first we have to find out, that is 1.33 minus 1.29. Similarly, delta of A2 1.33 minus 1.33. Similarly, 1.33 minus 1.34. 1.33 minus of 1.35. 1.33 minus of 1.32. 1.33 minus of 1.36. Then 1.33 minus of 1.30. Then 1.33 minus of 1.33. This is the way. Find out all the values. Delta A1, delta A2, delta A3, delta A4 like this. So you will get it different values. Here you are getting 0.04. Here it is 0. Here you are getting minus 0.01. Here you are getting minus of 0.02. Here you are getting plus 0.01. Similarly, minus 0.03, plus 0.03 and 0 like this. So these are the different values. This is called absolute error. This is called absolute error. Now, if you want to find out mean absolute error, then इन सबको जोड़ लीजिए. Sum of it and divided by 8. आप सबको जोड़ेंगे, add it. Then what you are getting here? 0.04 plus 0.00 plus 0.01 plus 0.02 plus 0.01 plus 0.03 plus 0.03 plus 0.00. Add it. What we are getting? Where minus sign is there, even we are adding because we are taking magnitude of that. In magnitude only we have to take positive quantities. तो सबको जोड़ लीजिए. Sum of all the quantities and divided by 8. What we are getting here? 0.14 divided by 8. This is. So we are getting here 0.0175. So I can write here near about 0.02. This is called mean absolute error. This is called mean absolute error. Okay? Now, in the next part, what is relative error? Relative error, I can say our formula is plus minus delta of mu mean divided by mu. What the values I know. Here this is plus minus 0.02. This value I came here and then the actual value is 1.33. 0.02 divided by 1.33. You solve it, you will get it around plus minus 0.015. This is the relative error. For percentage error, then the relative error, that is 0.015 into 100. This is called percentage error, that is of around plus minus 1.5%. So this is the way to find out the result. Is that clear? I hope you all have clear all the errors which we are discussing today. Okay.